Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Coming Off the Edge. It is Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is February 22nd. Deuce in the house. Did anybody else know that it was 2/22/22 today?
Yeah,
on a
brother.
Tuesday.
I just realized that on a Tuesday. So here we are, coming off the edge, live for your entertainment and our entertainment. We have Herms here
you
with
old
us.
people.
We have Herms, always entertaining as he does, quite the entertainer himself. What's going on, fellas? Jeff, you got the FBG hat. You're looking sharp tonight. What's going on, my friend?
How much? It's 2/22/2. I don't know. It's Tuesday. I'm here with my friends, and that's all that really matters. So we're all good, and we're kind of starved for some news right now because certainly Aaron Rodgers doesn't have any news. But
Nice.
other than that, we're all good.
News? What
Nice.
news?
That's good stuff. Greetings, Earthlings. Isn't that what he said or whatever, right?
Yes, that is.
What a way to enter.
Yeah.
That's
All
a
right.
weird dude. That's just one of the weirdest dudes. Though. I'll tell you, like people seeing the Instagram thing, be like, oh, does he have some whole thing? It's just like, you ain't never seen a grown man just getting his feels and want to say nice things to his friends. All right. I do this all the time. Ain't nobody think I'm doing no cryptic stuff, but I don't know. Props to you, Aaron Rodgers.
Should
for this
we?
one thing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
getting your feels, be like, hey, yo, love you, bro.
No,
Just
cryptic,
like,
cryptic.
I don't know.
No,
Well,
that's cool.
we see it on Twitter all the time, though. Like people just going through and tagging everybody that matters to them, or like offering advice, whatever. We get into it a little bit with Twitter
Yeah.
on like how we're feeling at the moment and let it go a little bit. And I think that's good. That's healthy and good for Aaron Rodgers that he did that as well.
Yeah, maybe we all need the 12-day cleanse that he took.
Maybe.
I mean, I definitely do. Anyways, I don't know. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy
And
Tuesday.
I guess since we're in the off season and there's not too much to talk about yet, we could sit there and speculate on rookies and where they're going to go, but we'll stick to the guys that have been around the league for a little bit that are looking for a contract. We're going to talk about some free agents tonight and guess whether or not they're going to go somewhere. Maybe they have a shot. Maybe they retire. Maybe they don't get signed. Maybe those guys that get picked up late, like the Devontae Freemans of the world, get picked up late and are actually fantasy relevant of some sort down the road. And the guys that you want to look at, maybe from a dynasty perspective or a late round perspective for redraft purposes. So without further ado, let's just get up and get into it. Corey, shout out to Spot Track. How do we pronounce it? Let's go over this real fast.
I always said Spot Track.
Is it
I don't think
Spot
that's
Track
right.
or Spot
I
Rack?
think it's Bot Track.
Spot Track. Spot Track.
Track.
Spot Track. It's German. Got it.
The S is silent. Po Track.
Po Track. What you
Yeah,
got?
there
My
you go.
problem. You got my Po Track.
I just know that there's a big feud, it's like whatever Spotrac versus Over the Cap as the contract websites. So whoever wants to sponsor the show, we'll use you next offseason. Thank you.
And we promise we will say it correctly every
Right.
time.
That's I guess
Spotrac.
that's
You got my
So
Spot Track.
quarterbacks though. This is probably
You're
not
like starting
exciting.
off with guys that are just like not even, we got Ben Roethlisberger on the screen here. What's going on, Corey?
I mean,
What
Corey
do you,
and
this
I.
is Spotrac, dude. What do you
Corey
mean?
and I had talked about this before you
This is
guys
just
joined in
quarterbacks.
pre-show, and there were pretty much only two quarterbacks I would roster on this list when it comes to anything
What are you coming at me
related
for,
fantasy. It's Jameis Winston and Teddy Bridgewater. Those are the only two that I would actually throw some.
You're sleeping on old Mitchell there. I think.
Am I?
Mitch
Am I?
and
don't
Marcus
think so.
Mariota, I think both have chances to emerge as starting. I mean, I would stash them in a Superflex Dynasty League.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But
I'm not a big fan of Trubisky.
because it's not
Tyrod
exciting.
continues to find a way.
He does.
So, I don't know.
He
I
does.
like that the ages here 34.2. Like Andy Dalton, like he's cool, but like I don't know. This is boring. Biggest one, Jameis Winston, and what did that Denver report come out saying? Like Teddy was gonna get resigned like 2 years, 40 million or something.
I think that was a lie.
I
Yeah,
would
it was a
assume
lot.
so, obviously, but I mean, Denver's got to do something. But maybe the domino is obviously the elusive Watson and what happens. When's free agency official? 3/14
314 is the tampering period, I believe.
tampering, and then
And then 316 or
18?
317.
Okay, so
Like
3/14 it
guys.
kind of begins. I'm sure some trades will happen, whether that's who we started off with Rodgers or Watson, potentially Wentz as well. But kind of an not underwhelming quarterback free agency, because like if a good quarterback's in free agent, what's the why? But what about Winston? Does he stay in New Orleans? Does he go to Pittsburgh? Shout out to Herms.
I think he stays in New Orleans. I
think he
think
stays in New
he
Orleans as
earned.
well.
Yeah, I think he earned
1 year?
at least a 1-year contract if he
Prove it.
wants that 1-year contract. Or I can see him possibly going back to
Panthers?
Tampa Bay.
That'd be something. They
You
got
know,
Kyle Trask.
Oh yeah, sure. If they don't get their way, if they want to bring back all their
Gabbert.
players in Tampa, they're going to need somewhat of a low grade starting quarterback, and Winston would be a great bridge for Kyle Trask. Now, Kyle Trask, in my opinion, isn't that terrible. What he did in Florida was actually pretty good, and it helps when you have Kyle Pitts and all that. But if you have talent like Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, do I dare say Rob Gronkowski comes back for another year, or OJ Howard finally emerges into something? Either way, they have some talent on that offense, and
Jalen Darden.
Trask is probably going to be the future there, possibly, but I can see Winston coming in as a bridge quarterback.
No. Godwin's a free agent, though. We'll have to get that in the.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to
tag
that.
him.
This is a little appetizer. The quarterback's the appetizer this round
Winston
because
cool,
there's not too much meat and potatoes here on this list, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean Cam Newton. I think it came out and said he was open to a backup role, but I feel like we're just kind of wasting time on the quarterbacks here.
What do y'all got against Tim Boyle, though? All right, he did okay for like a quarter.
The GOAT.
Okay,
the real TB12.
Yeah. Thank you.
Clip it.
What do you got? What do you got against giraffes? Mike Glennon sitting here on this list.
Haskins, Rosen. So Huntley, he's a restricted free agent, so they'll retain the rights when Baltimore. The Dolphins just signed Chris Streveler.
Hey. Huntley, we kind of glossed over that. Yeah, but that's a name that I would be interested in.
He's a restricted free agent. He ain't going nowhere.
Well, no, they could trade for him. If somebody walks in and offers you a 3rd-round pick for Tyler Huntley, I mean, I think that I would consider that if I were the Ravens. He's certainly not in long-term plans.
I would not, because next offseason,
why neither of us are running teams, Corey.
True. Well, I was coming off the compensatory draft pick formula. Like they would just get a 3rd-round pick when he signs a deal.
That's why I'm saying they offer a 3rd.
So why not offer a 2nd? Like you got to get a 2nd out of it. You got to hedge that, side.
With that being said, Jeff, and I'll throw it to you. If Huntley doesn't go back to the Ravens, where could you see him fitting into an offense?
Pittsburgh.
Well, Pittsburgh wouldn't happen because I don't think that they would do a deal between each other. I would, we talk about Tampa. That would be interesting to see him in that offense potentially if Arians lets him go, because Arians wants to throw it down the field, and he's the guy that can keep the plays alive to be able to do that. I still tend to believe that Winston's going to stay in New Orleans. They left almost all the infrastructure in place from the Sean Payton era. And Winston, he said that Sean Payton, he grew up a Saints fan. He said he believed in Sean Payton. That's why he wanted to be there. And I think kind of keeping everything together, he's a guy that he's had money already. He's experienced all the pressure on him. And so landing in New Orleans, I think he stays there. Huntley, yeah, again, the Bucs would be interesting for him. Maybe Washington would be interesting for him if they wanted to go that route. There's a lot of unknown because we don't know. I would be surprised if anybody but Deshaun Watson gets traded, and that's still kind of an open question on if he's going to be able to play or not. And you look at this list, there's not guys ready to walk in. Maybe we discount Ryan Fitzpatrick a little bit, but he's a guy that could end up somewhere as well, either a bridge quarterback or a backup that might get some playing time. But again, no names stand out on this, and even the 22 draft class, no real names stand out there as well.
So who do we think will get a contract first, Tyler Huntley or Dwayne Haskins?
Oh dear,
Haskins.
Haskins.
Huntley's already under contract.
XFL.
He's a free agent.
He's a restricted free agent. They'll just retain his rights. He has.
But really, do they have to though? They don't have to.
They don't have to, but they will.
It's the fact that Dwayne Haskins couldn't beat out Mason Rudolph for the backup job.
Where'd he go?
Like, I mean, straight up, and like, me being a, resident Steelers fan, Herms. I mean, I've hooted and hollered ad nauseum about how much I really, really don't like Mason Rudolph. And if you can't beat out that guy,
one of the worst first-round picks ever.
So here's You guys may or might not know, but the USFL is having their draft tonight, and I looked at the quarterback list, and boy, it would be a lot more interesting if we were going to be able to watch Dwayne Haskins play against Josh Rosen in the USFL. Then I think Chase Litton is the biggest name in the USFL quarterback list. So that's where I don't know. If I'm starting a league up, I would throw some money down, especially at the quarterback position, to be able to get somebody that somebody has heard of to play these games.
I dig it.
That's very nice, man. So quarterbacks, nothing much. Biggest names: Winston, Mariota, Bridgewater, and probably Trubisky.
Tim Boyle.
Shout out Tim Boyle.
All right, moving right along. We're going to go to running backs now because now we can actually have a little bit of content behind what we're talking about.
All right.
Woo. So biggest names here: what? Fournette, Gordon, Cordarrelle Patterson, obviously, and then maybe Penny. He got his name out there at the end of the year last year.
Spot track is
Sony
just
Michel,
pop off.
Marlon Mack.
It's hard to navigate with that.
Ronald Jones.
James Conner. Oh my God. McKissick. I think Washington said they want to get McKissick back.
Yeah, if you're sorted by contract value, I feel like some of the better guys might be a little bit lower because they're off rookie contracts.
Do you want to go lower? So down here we got.
I don't know who's down there.
Dearness Johnson,
Balash, Buddy Howell, Ryan Nall.
Don't sleep on Dearness Johnson.
Salvon, Ahmed,
Jermichael Hasty. Yes, Jermichael Hasty. Yes, he's going to get like a $10 billion a year contract for all the money in the world.
Solid player.
Dearness Johnson probably earned himself a contract after that filling in for Chubb game.
I think he did.
He was the number one running back in PFF.
Really?
Yes, Dearness Johnson had the highest running back grade in PFF this past year.
That's wild, dude.
Cool, man. That's awesome. So, like, is he a Bills kind of guy, or do they?
I'd be intrigued on that one.
Right? That's nice. Sad, dude. Shout out me.
I think I was gonna say I think the Bills are gonna swing big. I think Saquon's the name to watch at the Bills. I'm telling you. Sorry,
Kamara. If they trade,
I don't hate it.
Jeff,
I would rather him go to a team that knows how to use a running back.
I'm just saying there is the GM and Brian Daboll both came from the Bills, and I think that the Giants are going to have a certain level of tear down. I think there's a little bit of there's certainly you're my friends over here. I need a guy that can be our guy. And one of the things that the Bills talked about in their postseason press conference was wanting to protect Josh Allen. And I think a lot of people took that as we're going to invest in the offensive line. What better way to protect Josh Allen than a running back that can take some the pressure off him, some of the carries off him?
Right.
It's yet to be seen, though, because Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, are both still on that team, correct?
Well, they're already under contract. They're cheap. They're third round contract. It's cheap depth. You see, here's the thing. You can have more than one good player on your team. Like, fantasy Twitter especially does this thing where they're like, well, they already have one good player. What do you mean they could have two good players? It's like, well, yes, I understand this might hurt your dynasty rosters, but you can have two good players. There's literally no rules against having even three good players on your team that could play one position.
And banking off what Jeff was saying about Daboll being from Buffalo trading with New York, we saw that with the Falcons and Titans when Arthur Smith went over to Falcons. He then traded Julio to the Tennessee. So maybe that actually is pretty solid if like coaching kind of happens like that with trading amongst teams. So that'd be exciting.
The GM is from Buffalo too.
Saquon being on the Bills, man, that'd be sick,
bro.
So there goes Dearness Johnson to the Bills. But what about like Melvin Gordon, Rashad Penny? Does Seattle retain him? Does Gordon go back to Denver? What about Fournette? Does he go to Arizona? Does Connor stay in Arizona? What's another big shift we got coming?
I think Gordon wants to stay in Denver, and I think they give him a 1-year deal.
That'd be sick, dude. I've always thought like they should. I
think it kills our Javonta Williams shares for another year. Maybe not so much, but we shall see. I mean, we only got one game of him being a true workhorse. So I would want him to see more. I want to see more of that, but who knows?
Yeah,
we might have to wait for it.
I forget his name. That Denver kind of insider guy said like the Broncos plan on using Williams. I mean, who knows these days, but they plan on using Williams as like the lead back. not just
Well,
like a
that's what-
timeshare.
That's what I would say too if I were going into free agency and wanting to negotiate with somebody. I'm just saying,
Right.
you know,
Of
some
course.
of the stuff. It's
Well, that's
like,
why I said who knows what to say, but you know, the lead back. Obviously, every pretty much NFL team has a RBBC, but being the lead back in it is cool. But look at that, he still had 203 last year. Just missed 1,000 the last 2 years, but
I mean, all purpose, he went over 1,000.
all purpose, yeah, 213. I mean, they get involved. Williams will get involved. Super cool snaps.
yeah,
Like,
he's
dude,
really
if-
comfortable in that blocking scheme that they're bringing over. That Nathaniel Hackett's bringing over. They run a lot of inside zone, and that Melvin Gordon is a specialist at that. So I expect that they'll try to keep him around.
That'd be sweet. And if he just hovers around like that 40 to 50% snaps, like that's going to be a good role. Like you were saying, NFL teams, you need to have depth and talent at the position, and it does not hurt to have too much.
Yeah, but you mentioned Javonta Williams, and I think that what we see in Dynasty sometimes is people value him as if Melvin Gordon's already gone, and yeah, I don't know. There's a fine line. There's a lot of things in Dynasty that I think you'll see. Like people will value Javonta Williams as if Melvin Gordon's already gone. People will value Jerry Jeudy as if they've already traded for Deshaun Watson. And part of that is if you're going to trade them away, you kind of have to do that. And if you're trading for them, like you can't really do that valuation. It's just one of those that I think there are a lot of guys that are very hard to move in Dynasty because that you have to have that mindset. You know, Aaron Rodgers might end up in Denver, and that spikes the value for Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. You have to take that into consideration on their market value. But again, like buying them, you can't do that because you have to buy almost that current production or, you know, a little bit of a bump.
It's going to be interesting. Melvin Gordon's a very interesting one, and it does affect a lot of fantasy implications if he does decide to stay or if they decide to keep him there in Denver. Moving down this list, Leonard Fournette. Now, Lombardi Lenny couldn't do it this year, all right? But he did show up in the playoffs once again. I have a feeling if he was in the Super Bowl, he probably would have won MVP. Over Tom Brady.
69.
Yeah, retire. I don't like retired players. Peace out, Tom.
Fournette was
Peace
cool,
out, Tommy
man.
B.
Fournette was
but no,
cool.
Leonard Fournette, man, like he's an interesting guy that came alive in his second contract or his second year in Tampa Bay. Kind of like a rejuvenated career. Like he was lost to Jacksonville, did not want to be there. They didn't want to have him there. They just kicked him to the curb, becomes the Tampa Bay, winds up being a Super Bowl star. And then this year for fantasy, like he was great until he got hurt, but he was great. And now, I mean, last year, what, $3.2 million? Who's going to not pay $3.2 million for a first round draft pick like Leonard Fournette? I think he has the best shot of picking where he wants to play this coming season.
Absolutely. Because if they're going to use a franchise tag, it's going to be on Godwin, right? Or maybe a defensive player. I don't know.
I'm not even saying like he has to go back to Tampa Bay.
Oh,
like,
year two?
He doesn't. Like, I think he has his free pick of where he wants to land, like somewhere that, you know, who's to say that Seattle retains like Chris Carson comes back healthy.
There you go.
He can go to Seattle. You know, the things aren't working out for the New York Jets. He could go to New York Jets if he wanted to. You know, like I think he has I think he's shown enough in the 2 years that he played in Tampa Bay that he still has the juice, that he can wind up wherever he wants to. And there's another guy on this list that has the same kind of comparison. And I don't want to get to him yet, but like Fournette could wind up with the Cardinals and just kick ass. Like he has that capability.
I believe when he was a free agency, it came down to Tampa, Buffalo, and Kansas City that he was picking between the three of them. And both Kansas City and Buffalo have openings. So
I would love to see him in a Buffalo Bills jersey in 2022.
Saquon, we just went over that. Herms.
One of the things that I think is really interesting to consider, like not even, I mean, obviously with some of the top tier guys, it's probably not going to be that much of a likelihood. But if we look at some of the guys that appear lower on this list that maybe aren't going to get like these huge cash deals, the development of the offensive line in New York with the Jets, I mean, I assume they're going to continue to invest in this year's draft on top of what they already did this past year, bringing in people like, Elijah Vera Tucker and like they're building up something pretty good there. So like for as many concerns as we, may have about like, oh, like what's Zach Wilson going to be like objectively speaking, that line is like it was way better than it was, in 2020, in 2021. And then in 2022, I mean, again, they're probably going to keep investing in that. So it's like, Michael Carter running in tandem with somebody. And I don't really know who it's going to be, but like there's such a good fit for somebody to just kind of be the hammer to kind of go with, Michael Carter being the whole like, boop, 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 got it. Ooh, that dude, whoever that is, straight up, like people are going to hate it because it's like, oh, it's the running back on the Jets. I'm like, no, don't talk yourself into that. Look at the full picture and be like, yo, like it's one of my favorite landing spots.
I was kind of hoping that it was Ty Johnson this year, and we saw that project fail.
It worked out for a couple of weeks, but
he was all right. But
it's not like a guy that you want to be the RB2 or RB1 and B, whatever you want to look at it. And bouncing off Herms, I think the Jets, they were either graded the 14th or the 12th best offensive line. Their center, Chris McGovern, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the better centers. I wouldn't mind if they reached on like Tyler Lindenbaum at the 10th pick. That'd be sick.
Lindenbaum, Vera Tucker.
But if McGovern is still under contract, they don't need him. They could, get an offensive weapon for Zach Wilson to pair with Davis and more. I don't know.
All right. And since
you're going to get a tight end, I'm telling you.
Trey McBride, what's up? Yeah, come on down. There you go.
35 and 38 in the second round, bro. If they don't take Trey McBride, I'm riding.
All right, before we get to my other guy that I was talking about,
Boston Scott.
22. It's deja vu. Let's talk about a little bit of Marlon Mack.
Boston Scott.
Because Marlon Mack is
talking about Marlon Mack like every episode, dude.
He's going to the
every
Dolphins.
Year. He's going somewhere.
Dolphins.
He's got to be going somewhere.
Dolphins.
Is he though? Like, because I thought he was going there last year. Is
he
going back to South Florida?
Dolphins. Because now McDaniel is over there. He was a rumored trade target at the last trade deadline in 2021. I have no idea, but that'd be sick. Pair him with Gaskin.
Does Marlon Mack
enjoying watching Corey attacking these pop-ups?
Thank you.
We could send every one of these running backs to Buffalo. Just send them over there.
Thank you, Jeff. No, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Probably wouldn't be Mack. Wouldn't it be like Mostert? Because, like, I don't know. If McDaniels brings that zone block and scheme where you need that one cut, that one burst, obviously the Achilles, blah, 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 K-makers, does Mack still have it?
I think Mack does have it.
He looked fine in those couple
shaking
games.
His head
that he got some carries, dude.
No,
I didn't see any wincing or anything.
I don't know.
Jameis Winston
if you were to put together a top 10 of this list, Marlon Mack would be very low on it if he's on it at all. I don't know. I'm very out on him. He's off the Achilles. He's older. We haven't seen production in a couple of seasons now.
Who would you rather have, Marlon Mack or Ronald Jones?
Ronald Jones.
Yeah,
Mack.
No, I was just fucking
Ronald Jones. I don't think it's close.
Ugh.
Where does Ronald Jones go, Herms?
Wherever he goes. I don't care because if you besmirch the name, you will hear from me. That's all. But I mean, honestly, he's not going to go to one of those teams that I don't know. He has enough deficiencies in his game that, like, I think like a contender may not want to like trust him with a significant workload. But if you're looking for a team that is like rebuilding, but not quite far enough along to invest in like a high capital running back, I don't know. The Falcons, that is a team, maybe. The Jets, the aforementioned, possibly. I don't know. It could be, but it would have to be somebody like that because I don't think somebody like the Chiefs are going to be like, all right, we got to upgrade over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Ronald Jones. Like, no, I don't think that. Probably not. I don't know. But because I mean, like, for the Chiefs, just like, do you want a guy like look, for as much as I love the dude, the fumbling is a little bit of a problem. So, like, yeah, no. I mean,
it's the elephant in the room, to say the least.
Pretty much. God. I mean, like, dear God, just that wouldn't happen. But yeah, one of those, like, mid-level kind of like, transitioning. They're, like going from just being complete garbage to being really good, like that middle glob right there in between. That's what
about Houston?
These are field goals. Houston?
I got two teams for you. The Eagles and the Chargers.
For
jumping
Jones?
in as the power back on either of those teams.
I like that, Jeff.
I love it.
Because Boston Scott's leaving.
You bring
Scott
Ronald
is
Jones.
not a power back.
the
with
power
Ronald
back
Jones.
with Miles Sanders, with Gainwell. You
I like
kind of
that,
have that
man.
three-headed rotation that the Eagles like to run, and the Chargers have kind of whiffed back-to-back years. They went after Roundtree the year after they went out Joshua Kelly. They've been trying to find a power back complement to Austin Eckler, and Rojo could come in there and be that guy.
I like that, man. That's really nice. That's really nice. That's actually really interesting. See,
Big fan.
Will that make him maybe not fantasy, but maybe more best ball relevant then?
Well, certainly, because I think he'll get some goal line work. And I mean, I don't know. You see with backs, he catches 2 passes, he scores a touchdown, he gets 45 yards. I mean, they're starting that in most leagues.
Yeah. He's got
Ronald Jones is always relevant.
He's got like decent speed for like
in
a
like 14
back,
team leagues. He's very relevant.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Do not
That's
be smart.
cool, man.
I have him in a 14 team league, and he saved my butt this season somehow, some way. I don't know why. It was an orphan league. I picked it up. Shout out Gabe Gearing.
Twins.
Yeah, twins.
I'm
And I picked up this team, and I had Ronald Jones on, and I immediately called it Greasy Bust Burgers because I thought I was going to lose, but lo and behold, I won in the relegation league, and I am moving up to the big dog league. So
There you go. Look at you. All right, good man.
I shined a piece of coal, and it turned into a diamond in Ronald Jones.
Wow.
So I was talking to somebody today. I think that we need to have a National Orphan Day in Dynasty where we, throw up
like that.
your orphans that you're just desperately. I think a lot of us are probably commissioners in some regard or have been in the past, and we're trying to fill these spots. And Scott Fish with Safe Leagues, he's trying to fill his spots. I feel like in the off season, we need some more goodwill. And I feel like that might be a type of day where maybe we make some sort of charity element where if you join the orphan in this league, we'll donate half of your buy-in to charity or something like that, and kind of really make it a conversation and a focus, because I think there are a lot of people that are still new to Dynasty, still getting into Dynasty. And I do think that there's a little bit of a stigma on newer players to do an orphan because it's not their team. And being able to go through that process, taking over a team, I've taken over a couple now, and it's, somebody else's team, but it also gives you, it is, but it's also fresh eyes. You don't have the ties to the player. Like, I didn't draft them. I haven't had them for 2 seasons. They're my guy. I don't know. I can't see that value on that. You kind of come in there and you look at it as being a problem child that you're going to rip to the studs. And I think that if you do that correctly, you can bounce back very quickly in Dynasty.
Well, I know there are a couple websites that do that. They kind of like have them up for grabs kind of thing. You could bid on them, the teams that you actually want. But I like your idea. It's almost like an adopt a puppy or a pet day at the pet store, or your local. I don't know what's the thing for the ASPCA or whatever. We'll make a donation to the ASPCA if you adopt this Dynasty team.
Take over an orphan. We will give money to an orphanage.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Fantasy orphans, real orphans. Orphans. I mean, come on, dude. It's
I like where you're going with this.
Or you could have everybody in your league that we throw it. If our buy-in's $30, we have 12 people in there. Everybody throws in. If we have 11 people, everybody throws in $2 or $3, and we all donate that buy-in to charity on Orphan Day, and we get the spot filled. And I just think that there's a lot of little things like that I think could make a big difference in the community, especially in the off season, and maybe smoothing over some of the hostilities that can happen to take place.
And you don't hear a lot of people taking over orphans that are actually proud of them until they actually become something. Like, I was happy to take over an orphan that I knew was not going to win this year, that I was going to have to put some time and effort into. And I'm happy about it, because those guys that you pick up off the waiver wire, like your Elijah Mitchell that no one saw, or JJ Taylor, I'm waiting for him to pop. And maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But that's the fun of it. Like, there's not much worry. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, I drafted this team and everybody in this industry is going to see me lose. I don't no, it's not like that. It's just the fact that you love to play fantasy football. You love to try out new methods, new players that you don't have shares of, that you want players, and you want some shares of, and you want to try things out. Orphan's the best place to do it, I think, in my opinion.
It's like starting a franchise on Madden. You know what I mean?
Or
Like one of the
food
things I
or-
like to do is pick a really bad team and then just see where I can take it. Same concept. Bring somebody in, move some players on, do it, whatever. I don't know. The challenge of the building is very fun. You know, like that stigma around the whole, like it not being yours. Like, man, yo, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. I mean, honestly, I think it's like way cooler in a weird way. Way cooler.
I
So
mean, I
the other
recently.
thing-
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just going to say, if
Fucking
you're
hell.
out there and if you have not done Dynasty yet and you're interested in getting involved, Safe Leagues right now, Scott Fish has all the buyout teams 80% off. So you can buy into a $30 league for like $7. And the other thing, if you're brand new in Dynasty, I think it's a great
Shout out.
opportunity because when you're brand new, I remember my first Dynasty draft, you don't really grasp the depth of the league. You know, if you're used to playing your 12-team redraft league where you got 5 bench spots, you don't grasp really the roster construction and the depth that you're looking at. And so by taking over an orphan, you can kind of step into that, a fully formed picture. You can kind of see the league, where the league stands. And, you know, we help out our buddy Scott Fish, who was the nicest guy in the industry, and he's trying to get these filled so he can move on and worry about other things. So if you're out there, if you haven't tried Dynasty, if you want to try Dynasty, safeleagues.com, go to buy now, get 80% off that team, and learn.
How much you getting paid, bro?
Hashtag not a sponsor. Jesus,
Yeah,
Jeff.
are you getting paid, bro?
Yeah, no, he's on that. He's on that team. He's working some magic right there. I know what you're doing there, Jeff. For whom J Bell told you.
Safeleagues.com.
Yeah.
Scott Fish, what is it again?
Go to the buy now section on safeleagues.com, and they've got 80% off that you can check out a team and get loaded up there.
Use
80%
promo
off,
code
safeleagues.com, buy now.
COTE and get 80% off your Safe League.
Oh man.
Let them know who sent you. Let them know who
Yeah,
sent
let them
you.
know that Jeff
Well,
sent you.
They've got some really good ones too on that haven't hit the buy now section. That I messaged Scott today because there was one that had Josh Allen, it had Debo, it had
Well,
I
you
think
needed
Tyreek
what?
Hill, I think it had
Jonnu
Christian
Smith.
McCaffrey, and it was like a $30 buy-in, but it was like they put them up for bidding. So
Right.
the process is they'll put them up for bidding, and usually it'll go over the value if they've got some really nice pieces, because you're buying into a team that, you know, you can kind of turn some profit on there. But some of the buy now ones are definitely problem children, but you know, you're going in with fresh eyes and you don't have any attachments and you can just have fun with it.
Speaking of buy nows, how much of a buy now is James Conner? in
Boom!
Dynasty?
James
There
White,
you go. Love
aka
it.
Josh Jacobs. Yeah, James Conner's cool, huh?
Finished as running back 5 this year. All right, he played 15 games, totally eclipsed Chase Edmonds' chances of being anything sort of relevant in my eyes anyway. And I believe that he gets another contract with the Cardinals. And if they don't, it is open season for James Conner wherever he wants to go. Agree or disagree, gentlemen?
I mean,
I'm sure his options are limited.
As
Sure.
far as what, though? Can he be the lead back in Atlanta? Can he be the lead back in Miami? Could he go to the Bills? Yes, he has his pick. I think he has the option as a free agent to accept or deny a contract. And I expect for him to get a couple of offers this season come March.
I mean, I expect a couple of offers too.
But you don't hear that from a lot of free agents, especially 25-year-old running backs.
True. I mean, like he has the track record of, you know, like the health concerns and stuff. And also, honestly, I mean, like, and that is something that really went well for him this year in Arizona, is the fact that like Pittsburgh did not have the wherewithal to understand, hey, we can't have this guy just run out there constantly with this absurd amount of the snap percentage. Because it's like, look, I mean, like, you know, it again been established Steelers fan.
Behind
Also-
an atrocious offensive line.
And shout out the kid from Erie, PA. You know what I mean? Shout out, all love in the world for James Conner. Big fan of his, man. You know, like, but like, dude, he has to be able to go somewhere where like there is a level of understanding that like, hey, like we're gonna, you know, put you in one of, you know, more of those, like, you know, you could probably do like that 55, you know, 60% of the, you know, I mean, like a lot of these teams are. That's something that we already talked about before, but it's just like he really needs to make sure that it's not a place where it's like he's going to be driven into the ground, because like not only will he be upset with not being on the field, but the team that pays him will be upset with him not being on the field.
Well,
But,
see,
like,
a place like
yeah.
Atlanta actually makes a lot of sense. He
Yeah.
could be that Cordarrelle Patterson for the next 2 to 3 years for Atlanta. And they can go out and get a younger running back to run between the tackles. They don't want him to run between the tackles. He's not that kind of running back, but he is a great pass catcher and knows how to run routes.
If I'm James Conner, I want to go to a team that's going to win.
Like Buffalo.
Right.
Buffalo,
I don't know. If
I
he's
don't
not
know, but
catching-
if any of these free agents go to Buffalo, they're getting a Super Bowl ring. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
calling
gonna
it
be
now.
so cool.
God, I don't believe that so mad, but we're going to lose Patrick Mahomes every year for the next 15 years. So it's okay.
It's interesting with Arizona though, because like the two guys they have to replace, like looking through at the incoming rookie draft class, there are a lot of players that like profile to be like, well, we could replace a James Conner with this guy, or we could replace a Chase Edmonds with this guy. And it's like that's what makes it so difficult, I think, in terms of talking about either one of those players, because it's like it really depends on which one of them they feel best about continuing to ride with, because it's like it's at least plain to me that Kingsbury really wants to do that, because the defined role for what James Conner ended up being is like he just took over directly for what Kenyon Drake left behind, and it worked flawlessly because he's better than Kenyon Drake, and also he was better cast for that role. But like, I don't know. I see a lot of people talk about like some of these, higher names, but like I think about like, for instance, James Conner, you could bring him in and maybe they could take a shot on Kyron Williams or something. Oh, that could be interesting. Wow, who knows? Or you keep Chase Edmonds around and then it's just like, oh, well, this Tyler Algier fella, he fits in right nice. Like, there's just like, dude, they can go so many ways with it. And I feel like that's going to be like keeping us guessing. That's going to be the fun part.
What if they draft both?
What happens if they retain both?
Well,
like Corey's.
we have a tendency as fantasy analysts to say, well, this guy had an awesome year last year and somebody's going to make him a starter. And I think that teams look at it as he's a 26-year-old running back that we're not sure that has had problems staying on the field. And we are in an open market situation where we can get somebody that is roughly the same for less. And I think that's, I don't expect him to be able to pick his situation, because I just don't think that teams function that way with that position. I think it's kind of a, they might have a guy that they might be comfortable with, or they might have a guy that he's willing to take our money that we're willing to offer, and kind of think things fall in place that way. And I think in that position, particularly, you run into situations where, okay, there's only one chair left for me and I have to grab that chair.
That's how he ended up in Arizona in the first place.
That's right.
Who's your chair, Jeff?
I don't know. Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, where does he go?
Well, I think he's going to stay in Atlanta. He seems like he loves it in Atlanta. But the one that I think might be interesting, we talk about the Debo role, and there's a opportunity in Miami in the Debo role, and Cordero Patterson might be more qualified than anybody in the league in order to kind of play that hybrid role. So I'm just saying, Mike McDaniel coming down there, I think that it might be interesting. I may or may not have, if you didn't check out my NFC piece with Football Guys, I kind of danced around some potential free agents there. I'm working on AFC piece right now with the new coaches and potential free agencies with there. And I may or may not have linked Cordero Patterson into that type of role in Miami. So I'm just saying.
Who was it? Speaking of wide receivers.
Hey, look at that. Look at that.
Godwin, Robinson, Adams, does he get tagged? Fuller,
it looks like 2021's free agency list, because a lot of these guys got 1-year deals last year. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we see Robinson, we see Godwin, we see Fuller, we see Crowder, Schuster. Like, all these guys were on this list last year, but I think this year some of them at least have a better chance of getting a long-term contract. Now that most franchises have a little bit bigger cap space available. So let's talk about Chris Godwin, because Chris Godwin is obviously he's not. He's not maybe. It's not probably. He is the best wide receiver on this list as far as talent. As far as talent goes. He's 20. Javonta Adams, yeah, he's great. He's 29 years old. He's 29 years old.
He's 29.1.
He's going to be Julio Jones.
Yeah, come on, 29.1.
Yeah, Julio's 33. I mean, I get the comparison, but
Javonta Adams he's looking at like when's the regression coming? And I think it comes as early as the season.
When did it happen for Jerry Rice? When did it happen for insert other?
I mean, his ability to create his own space is really what makes it seem like, at least to me, that his profile will age better than it would be for some other receivers. But at the same time, like it
all depends on who's throwing him the ball when that comes.
Exactly. Like it's fair to have certain concerns
Right.
about like the factors of those who will be around him, and particularly who is in charge of getting him the football. But in terms of like his skill set that he possesses individually, that's not really a concern for me. But again, dude, if he gets tagged and it ends up being Jordan Love, I mean, I'm not going to be like super sad, but I'm going to be like
super sad.
I'll be moderately sad, like step above super sad. But like,
here, Chef, I got you on these. Age 29. Obviously Cooper Kupp is big. What about these wide receivers that went to 35.80 average? We got Steve Largent, Chris Carter, Isaac Bruce. Isn't Davante Adams amongst potentially this type of talent?
100%.
So
100%.
the lowest here is 33, highest 42 with Rice. Like, that's still 4 or 5 years for Adams. Potentially. Obviously, is he elite? Probably.
Yes, he is elite. Yes, he is.
Andre Johnson
he's one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league. Do I believe that he can continue that with another quarterback in another system? It all depends. There's a lot of variable to that, and I'm not going to say yes or no right now, because a lot of these guys, they did great things in their home franchise, like Jerry Rice with the 49ers. Michael Irvin obviously stayed with the Cowboys until he was dust.
Look at that though, but like
Larry Fitzgerald is an anomaly when it comes to wide receivers.
Aren't these all? I mean, his was 35 when he stopped compared to Steve Smith at 38 or T.O. at 35, Chris Carter 37.
Send it on over, Taylor.
Like,
I see you, bud.
Being 29 years old and still playing
bud.
210 games.
Send it on over.
210 divided by 16.
What league are we talking about here?
That's 13 more seasons after your. Wow, that's insane. Okay, going back to free agency. That's actually an article I'm working on.
Do we think that Davante Adams stays with Green Bay? First and foremost.
It depends what Rodgers does.
You really think it has everything to do with Rodgers?
Yeah.
I mean, it behooves them to tag him anyway, doesn't it? I mean, like that's kind of yeah.
It does, because Rodgers is under contract, right?
I think he he agreed to like a restructuring of like a 2-year deal, right? And he would be walking into year 2 of that deal. So
I don't remember, but yeah, they got to tag Adams to then convince Rodgers to stay.
But Taylor, why don't you just come on this show and offer me it live, bro?
Oh, that could be.
We're not Pat, I guess.
Yeah. No, but like if Adams did go anywhere, I think it'd be like really, really cool if he could team back up with Derek Carr. That would be fun.
That's the talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Fresno State, what's up? Hello.
Fresno State, shout out. That'd be cool.
Do you think Cleveland needs to get involved in some of this? Like one of these guys?
Juju.
I mean, their receiver room is absolutely decimated. And, it seems like Jarvis Landry wants out now. Like they just feel like they need to. They could sign Godwin and then turn around and draft Garrett Wilson. I mean, that team is like that decimated in terms of wide receiver.
Not for nothing. I think they can make a move and go after Chris Godwin and Juju Smith-Schuster.
That'd be sick, dude.
I wouldn't put it past them. I'm not sure how much cap space they have off the top of my head, but I think they have a lot of positions already nailed down. And if they want to stay in the game, they're going to have some kind of threat through the air. And it's not going well right now with just Landry there. I mean, as much as I like Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's not the biggest threat when it comes to receiver. They're not double teaming him. They're not, he's not taking up any extra space there. So yeah, I think they need a high profile wide receiver there. And I think Godwin and Smith-Schuster could both be that. They both can play multiple wide receiver positions. They both can play the slot. They both can play outside. They're both very versatile. And I think they would turn heads. So, yeah, Jeff, to answer your question, quite frankly, I think at least one of these guys on this list, even Will Fuller included, could wind up with the Browns.
So Baker could just pepper them with uncatchable targets?
Aspetta, Marone.
No, it would
Corey.
be so cool. I know. I'm sorry. It still would be cool. And obviously, like Jeff's alluding to, like their receiver core is down to nothing unless you believe in DPJ and Anthony Schwartz. With I'm not sure how many people.
I like
do.
Anthony Schwartz.
He's fast, dude. He's quick. But I
Believe it.
don't know. Zay Jones was cool in LV. There's so many names here. Kirk, Odell.
I think Zay Jones stays in Las Vegas.
Dia Shark. Not
Also, straight up, Big Mike
No.
Williams. I mean, he has a really good opportunity to cash out and do some real stuff, man. Because, like, look, I mean, like, yeah, his
That's a
play-
great one there.
Yeah, because like his play style is always just like, go up
Run
there
the
and do the
ball.
thing and then come back down and then crash on the ground. But like, if he can make like the Wu-Tang Clan and learn to protect his neck, I think he'll be fine. And like, dude, he's good. He's good, man. He's got the perfect X thing going for him that he on the right team, bro, dude.
I
that
mean, he's
big
on the
body-
right team. He
The
is on the
Chargers.
right team. Like, I mean, I
Oh,
think
yeah,
any
certainly,
team
but
outside the
just-
Chargers right now, as far as passing goes, is a downgrade. I mean, I would hate for Mike Williams to go to Cleveland and see my fantasy
Oh, it will.
But you'd like
future go down
Godwin
the
to go
drain
to
with Mike
Cleveland?
Williams.
I'm
but-
not rooting for anybody that I like to go to Cleveland. but like, but yeah, I mean, I think he'll have his pick of the list because I remember I think
You
I
think
saw it the other day. It was just like I got some like sleeper alert being like, teams may be willing to just throw him the bag, and it's like, well, if that's true, then wowzers, look out for that.
We have other stipulations going around the league right now, like what happens with Calvin Ridley. He's not a free agent. Does he come back?
Eagles.
Is he still out there? Does he come back and play? Who knows? We don't know that. And we will know eventually if Atlanta does make some kind of a move during free agency, whether or not something's going to happen down there. So, like, you could see one of these guys, like an Allen Robinson, going to play in Atlanta for one last shot.
That could be
Wow.
fun.
There's
That
a lot.
could
Oh,
be
I
fun.
love
Atlanta, dude.
free agency, and I know it's
Jeff is like
February.
sending 30-year-olds to Atlanta for one last shot. It's
Yeah,
like,
well,
I
I
love
mean,
Atlanta,
because-
dude.
I mean, look at their quarterback. One last shot. That they're not playing for the future right
You
now.
love Atlanta.
Yeah.
I hate Atlanta, by the way.
It doesn't sound like it, bro.
Although season 3 of the television show of the same name comes back very soon for fans.
Atlanta is only on season 3.
Yeah, dude.
They were on season 1 like 6 years ago.
I know. There's only been 2 seasons, but hey, season 3, dude, it's coming around the corner. I'm
Oh.
really stoked. I'm a big Donald Glover guy. So
Yeah, shout out to Don Glover.
Shout out Donnie Glover.
Feel
Only
free to
season
come on the
3?
show
there was the
anytime.
pandemic, Corey, that kind of knocked off some of the stuff.
Because
Hey.
it was Donald
We got a
Glover
lot of Star Wars
doing-
stuff done during that pandemic. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, no, because I think it was Donald Glover doing he was young Lando in the Han Solo film. That's what stopped it for that year. And then the thing that Jeff said about the virus thing that happened. So that, but like, yeah, dude, I mean, coming back, baby. I'm very excited.
Still waiting
Although
for this
it has
trade
nothing to
offer.
do with football.
Yeah,
Still waiting
Chef.
for it.
What was this offer? This was
I don't
12
know. He didn't
minutes
send it
ago.
to me. I mean, he told me not to roast him on the show, but I mean, you're going to get roasted if you said you're going to send me an offer on the show live. I would love to bring Taylor on to discuss it and maybe negotiate on the show, but I guess we're not going to do that.
Bro. Yeah, Taylor-
Instead, let's get into our draft, Corey. We talk about, we talked about Jerry Rice. We mentioned Tommy B on the show already. Let's talk about some GOATs in sports. Now, greatest of all time does not have to be football.
Surprise,
We
Herm.
love football. And Herms, you have the 101, so you get to pick whoever you want. And I'm sure we'll have some debate over some of these guys, but let's get in it.
So I get to pick the GOAT of any sport.
The GOAT
Any
of all
sport.
of them, the 101 of GOATs.
Who's your
How
goat
about
of
that?
goats? Yeah, who's the goat of goats?
I will take Serena 101. Let's go. Yes.
Very
Serena
interesting.
1.01, tennis legend, obviously. But you
Obvious choice. Obvious. At least in my
obvious.
Just like, dude,
Obvious.
hands down, Serena. Like, she's got that down.
According to my ranking, she's third.
You would.
But who
Corey.
am I? You know,
You would have rankings pre-show.
I'm gonna go with
Well,
Wayne
I was-
Gretzky
yeah.
on mine.
Very nice. Very
Well,
nice.
think
It's
I
probably
think
the
that's
only
hard
hockey
to
player
debate
I can
back.
remember. Him and Lemieux.
He
has,
Alexander
like, every
Ovechkin
single
would like
stat.
a word. Okay. My biased ass capital.
Way out of
spoon.
my wheelhouse. Way out of my wheelhouse.
His
Gretzky's
numbers
a
are
good one,
insane. If you like looking at numbers, like I'm not a big hockey guy, but Wayne Gretzky's numbers relative to the rest of the NHL are wild.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Damn, I'm actually surprised. You know, this guy fell. I don't know if I want him.
LeBron James.
Hey, because like Herms, I'm gonna go with Michael Phelps.
Hey, shout out the state of Maryland. What up? Yeah, woohoo, yeah. All right,
That's
just
great.
give you
That's
the
great. You
amount-
guys just give me the crown
Dude,
now.
28 medals, 23 gold medals. Are you kidding me?
All right, so there's another guy that won some medals, and he also won some championships with the Bulls, and his name is Michael Jordan. Okay,
Yeah, 6.
so let me get 104. Michael Jordan. Disrespect to all of you.
What do you mean, Michael Phelps? 23 gold medals.
And
Man.
then, goats. Give me Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth.
There you go. Shout out.
Babe Ruth.
I don't know if he cracks top 10, dude.
Oh yeah.
I
You
mean,
ask
for-
anybody
for
about
his- for
baseball,
his
everybody
era,
knows
I
Babe
mean,
Ruth.
For
Everybody.
his era, he's definitely like.
Oh, Babe Ruth's cool, dude. He was like drinking beer, eating hot dogs.
He
just
was smoking
smashing home
cigars
runs.
and hitting baseballs. Like what? Who
Yeah.
didn't want to be Babe Ruth?
Because I mean, the fact that when he set the record, smacking those 60 home runs, because at that point, I mean, like just coming out of like the dead ball era, I mean, yo, that just wasn't happening, man. Like Babe Ruth, he knows what's up. He knows what's up.
That's cool. No, Babe Ruth's cool. I was just
Fellow
thinking-
Marylander. So there you go.
And I could
So
have went back basketball, but I didn't want to do that to you guys. You know.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that. But thank you for not doing that. But I'm not going basketball. My next GOAT, I'm gonna go Tiger Woods.
Oh, that was
Love
my
what he's
good-
going to be able to do with golf. Golf's worldwide. You know, swimming. I don't know if that's worldwide, but it could be. I'm going more global than I am just the American here. So Jeff, Wayne Gretzky, who you got next?
I'm probably gonna have to go with Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, the TB12. That's classic. I mean, the second round, third pick, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, what is that? 7th overall pick
Get
as a
him at the
GOAT.
second pick.
That's
you
pretty
know.
good. That's good value. That's like Christian McCaffrey in the first round, mid round for sure.
All right. I would be remiss if I did not include the dude of dudes, Tony Hawk, the dude. All right. Like,
nice,
The
dude.
dude.
Wow, I didn't even think about
yeah,
that.
dude, it's Tony Hawk, bro. Because like not only like the GOAT in
Nice.
his field, but in my opinion, the GOAT of sports video games. Because Tony Hawk Pro Skater, yo,
Good one,
dude,
dude.
those games are just the best, man. I would not be who I am without Tony Hawk. So
That was a
thank you
good
so
one. I
much.
didn't even think about him, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, man, Tony Hawk, he's cool.
Wow. All right, you're back on, Herms.
All right, and then once we go with so like Chef got it with the OG GOAT. I'm gonna go with the modern version of the GOAT for baseball. It's got to be Barry Bonds, bro. Like,
Okay.
Nice. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
exactly, because I look, man.
Yeah, he kind of did some
yeah.
stuff to keep him out of there, didn't he?
Sure. And like, I mean, if anybody wants my long rant about how steroids were enforced in the 1990s and all that stuff, and
Him
why
and
he-
Mark McGuire.
and like why he deserves to be, because it's just like, if a tree falls in the forest and the league's not around to hear the sound, then I don't know. But yeah, Barry Bonds, he's the dude. Even without the steroids, just his career as a Pittsburgh Pirate alone, bro.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, he didn't hit that
He was
steroids
great.
till later, but who
Yeah,
cares?
to
Bring back steroids
San
in
Fran.
baseball, make it entertaining again.
I
Jeff,
think it's still there, actually.
You're
Those
you're
are
gonna let
great.
me have the best,
I know.
unquestionable best hockey player of all time. You're gonna let me have the best football player of all time, and you're gonna let me have the best basketball player of all time. I'm gonna go with
No,
LeBron
I have the
James
best
here.
basketball. No, I have
LeBron
the best.
James.
LeBron's the GOAT, bro.
It's
Jordan's best.
LeJean Brames.
LeBron James. What was that meme or a Vine? LeBron James.
LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron.
You know,
James.
yeah,
I was
Michael
Team
Jordan,
Jordan
LeBron James.
forever.
One of the best debates we could have probably in the GOATs.
I'm flipped to Team LeBron. I think.
Team
Yeah.
Brown. It's like Tom Brady, Peyton, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, LeBron. You got the balance there. And
Yeah.
third round, that seems like good value for LeBron.
That's
Yeah, it's good
for
value.
LeBron.
It's good value.
I
It's
like
great
that.
value, actually.
Oh, I'm on deck. Okay, or I'm on deck. I'm at bat. Thank you everyone for letting this happen. I really wanted to take this person in the second round. I went Tiger Woods, but I'm going Simone Biles here.
Yo,
Oh, that was my
damn it.
dark horse. I was
Oh.
waiting for the fourth round.
You ain't getting her in the fourth round. Are you kidding me? Dude, she's
Wow.
goated there.
All
in gymnastics.
All right.
Oh,
So
come
I
on,
grew
bro.
up watching this guy play, and I'm going Jerry Rice here.
I mean, dude,
He was the GOAT in football before Tom Brady.
he was 42. Sorry,
What?
it's your moment when he stopped playing.
Oh, yeah.
It's your moment. My fault.
Yeah, but I mean, when he was in San Francisco, he wasn't 42.
I think I saw him play when he was on the Raiders. Was he on the Raiders? Right?
Yeah, he was on the Raiders before.
little
Who was
bit,
the
yeah.
other receiver he was with? Was it Tim Brown?
Maybe.
Could I have
Maybe,
seen
maybe
him play?
Crabtree's rookie year. And then I will diversify quite a bit here since I have baseball, basketball, football. I'm going to say Kelly Slater,
Oh, nice. That's
All
a good
right,
one.
there you
goat
go.
of surfing. So
That's a good one, man. I could not do that. Like surfing.
it's a fun sport.
It's terrifying.
I mean, I could hit like the bolt, the BS wave right there 2 feet away from the beach line. But like, dude, he's running like what, 50, 60, 70 feet waves, dude?
There's some heat. There's some
Oh my
heat there.
God. Speaking of surfing, thank you everyone for letting this happen. I'm taking Usain Bolt.
You guys have lost this so bad, and you are about to find out.
Jeff, your team sucks.
Yeah, Jeff.
Muhammad Ali.
Oh,
Oh,
wow, good
fuck.
one.
Damn it.
How do I spell that?
Bye. Bye.
Okay.
Just put Ali. Everybody knows who it is.
That's a good one. I didn't even think about
That's a
that.
walk-off there, Jeff.
Not really, dude. He ain't even top 10.
I mean, you could have
dude.
said Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was really, really good.
Yeah,
too.
dude. Muhammad Ali ain't even top 10, dude.
He kicked Joe Lewis's ass.
Nah, dude. Jeff thinks he won this. He ain't won none.
I just walked off. That was a grand slam walk off. That was
Nah,
Yeah, that was
not
nice.
even.
That was nice. Jeff.
that was
nice.
Jose Bautista throwing the bat. I'm telling you.
That was pretty good.
Nah, I ain't impressed with that one, to be honest.
Although I will say, I'm gonna round this out real good, but it's gonna be one of those like if you know type situations. Because like I already got the king of vert when it comes to Tony Hawk, but the king of street skating, the true GOAT, the real ones know. If you're a skateboarder, you know. Rodney Mullen, dude. That's that move. You got to go for, man.
He was the
like,
OG.
Oh,
dude, Rodney
Okay.
Mullen, yo, straight up. Like modern skateboarding would not be what it is without Rodney Mullen, bro. Straight, oh my God, yo. His flatland tricks, absolutely incredible. Just like innovative as hell. I remember it was like those skate videos like hit like what was it? Like Mullen versus Day-One saw him back in the day doing all that crazy stuff. Like, yo, but dude,
I personally
all
don't
day.
know, but I believe you
And,
both.
Draft out.
shout out at Ryan Pros 26. Sean White did not make it.
That's a good one too. Mountain Dews,
Yes.
baby.
Yeah, I thought Sean White was going to go in the fourth. But hey,
He should have. Who else was out there that should have gone?
he got beat out by some greats like Kelly
Willie
Slater,
Mays?
Usain Bolt, Muhammad. Yeah, Willie
Who's
Mays,
that car driver?
Hank Aaron.
Who's
Like
that? Number 8, Dale Earnhardt.
I can't believe Barry
don't know if
Bonds is
Richard
on
Petty
here,
or
but
Dale
that's a
Earnhardt would be
Pittsburgh
the
family
one
kind
there.
of thing. A homer pick.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson, very good.
I've met him a couple times. He's
Greg
cool.
Oden.
Lawrence Taylor.
The anti-goat draft, dude.
See, there you go. Yeah. We could do the.
I think the
woke
next draft we have to do is sports figures that got caught doing something illegal.